bring in just a moment everyone from LinkedIn. Oh, everybody's here now. Hey, everybody. How y'all doing? This has been a morning. So I'm going to say good morning, good afternoon, good evening to you, wherever you're watching or listening in. Welcome to the Dr. Geneva Speaks Show live. Yeah, we're going to get into a real good topic today. It's just taking me a moment or two to bear with me to get my stuff together. You know what I did this morning? Okay. I don't know why I did it, but yes, I do know why. So I wanted to squeeze in an appointment with my trainer this morning. I've never done that before a live show because, as you know, we go on at 9 o'clock and it can be tight. And the earliest appointment I could get with her was 7:30. Now, I'm up 5:15 every morning, and I can do and usually have done earlier appointments, but this day I could only get a 7:30 appointment. So I said, well, I'm going to do it. Let me try it. So I've just kind of come back from that, and I'm trying to get myself together for y'all. So, but I did get my appointment in. And so I feel full of energy. And I am so excited about this topic today. Now, speaking of technology and what we're going to talk about, but we're going to talk about AI. Artificial intelligence, and then how we as women over 50 can use that very strategically. So I want you to be very sure about, what it is the subject's going to be. And I've been asked to do this by so many different people. That's why we're going to do it. So that's what the subject's going to be today. And I want you to make sure you put your questions or any comments you have. And then I want to tell you, after this at 10:30, we're going to have another special conversation. And that's going to be with Rosa Parks' grandniece. Oh, yeah, we're going to continue the conversation about legacy and action as we look at Rosa Parks and her life and the foundation that she created. So it's going to be an exciting morning. And so you can see I'm still trying to get myself together. So let me just say hello to everyone. Hey, Donna, how are you from Kentucky? Let me know where you're coming in. And is that my girl, Vivian Picard? Oh, mwah. I love you, girl. Now you want to talk about a superstar. All y'all know Vivian Picard. She spent years making massive change, making a real difference at GM. And she still continues that today. She headed up the foundation over there, but she still continues that today, wins awards. In fact, I think you just got an award, didn't you, for lifetime community service or something like that, because from the governor. But anyway, Vivian and I serve on the Michigan Women's Commission together. We were just together last week. It's my honor that you've joined today. Thank you so much. And Donna, how's it going in Kentucky? How's the weather there? Good to see you. And hello to everyone here from my Facebook group, Extraordinary Women Influencers. We're not going on TikTok today. Why is it, Dr. Geneva? Why aren't you going on TikTok? Well, I ain't going on TikTok because I haven't set it up. Brought the wrong phone in. I told you this was going to be one of them days. I got the wrong phone here, and I can't get them on this phone. I got to get them on the other phone, but Extraordinary Women Influencers is on that phone. So we won't have my TikTok audience, but they will be with us at 10:30. I hope you'll join too at 10:30, where we're going to talk legacy and action, and we'll be talking with Rosa Parks' grandniece. and hearing her voice and how the legacy of Rosa Parks continues through her foundation that she started. And that foundation is having a fabulous gala on November 1st. And Courtney Vance, y'all know Courtney Vance, don't you? Now, the award winning, Emmy winning actor, philanthropist, and the husband of Angela Bassett. Okay. He's going to be in town. He's going to be the guest speaker, Detroit homeboy. He's from Detroit, you know. So that's what we're going to be doing at 10:30. But right here, right now, we are going to jump into talking about the AI advantage if we're ready here. And I'm going to be assisted by, as always, you know, I was doing this thing for so many years on my own by myself. And so I've got my producer, Karina, here with me now. So we're going to do some stuff. We're going to go live. We're going to do some of the tools that I want to show you, some tools that I use, again, strategically, AI tools strategically that I use to stay relevant, competitive, strategic, and that all of us can do. Because see, here's the advantage. Now I'm going to go into it a little deeper, but just to give you the heads up so that you'll know what it is. If you're in your 50s, 60s, 70s, and beyond, you know you got it going on because you've been through stuff. You've been through everything, okay? Just imagine for a minute, take a breath with me. Take that plus you master an AI tool. Together, can't nobody beat you, right? You can stay competitive, relevant, and have fun. Okay, so that's what we're going to talk about. And that's what the advantage is. It's real simple, but I'm going to show you exactly what I mean. And again, this topic is brought to you by the people who have constantly been asking me about this, saying everything. So I'm going to go through all of that. Burl, how you doing, girl? I'm so glad you're here. Let me say hello. Let me make sure I can hear you. If you can, that I hear from you. And if you can hear me, would you please put a 1 in the chat? If you can hear me, I want to make sure you can hear me, that I'm coming through. And we're going to get started. Put a 1 in the chat if you can hear me. And I'm coming through okay. And so remember, you know, I'm going to go through the lesson and we're going to do some tech here. And then anything can happen, you know, when we do technology, but it's all right because that's what life's about. And so it's all good. Okay. So we're going to do some tech. And then if you have questions or comments, please put it in the chat. Okay. So, you know, what I've learned and what I've heard, okay, is what I want to share. And just last week, I got another one of those calls from a client. I'll call her Linda for a moment. She's a senior leader at a major nonprofit. She's built a career over many, many years, 25 years or so, smart as hell. But she called me and she said, Dr. Geneva, everyone else seems to get it with this tech stuff. I feel like I missed the train. And honestly, it's embarrassing to keep asking for help. So, you know, I stopped her right there. You know me. And I said, Linda, you're looking at this all wrong. Because, see, here's what nobody's telling us. 64% of women our age believe technology isn't designed for us. And a quarter of us say keeping up with tech is a major workplace barrier. So we think we're at a disadvantage. But folks, that's looking at it backwards. When you take your 25 years of strategic thinking, your ability to read a room, your network, your judgment, and you add AI tools to that, you don't just catch up, you become unstoppable. Now, women's AI adoption has tripled in just 1 year. And when companies train women over 50 in digital skills, listen to this, my friends, they see a 20 to 40% productivity increase. And you know why? The people just learning these tools have to learn the tool and learn strategic thinking and figure out what even matters. They're starting from scratch on all three. You you already have the strategic thinking. You already know what matters. You just adding the tool. Okay? That's why the productivity jump is so massive. You're not starting from zero, from the bottom. You're multiplying existing mastery. So today isn't about becoming a tech expert. It really is about what I want you to do is understand the advantage you already have and how, and I'd like to show you how three simple um, AI tools can amplify your wisdom, not replace it. Okay. You know, when I started my business in my late 60s, I had to learn a lot of new things fast. I was used to having a team, staff who handled the tech, people who could figure out the systems and do the operations while I focused on strategy and interacting with stakeholders and raising that money. Um, but suddenly, when I became this late life entrepreneur, it was just me and my laptop. Now, I could have told myself that I was too old to learn this stuff. That ship had sailed, right? But here's what I realized. I realized that thing, hey, I'm not starting with a blank slate. I did have 40 plus years of knowing how to lead, how to build partnerships, how to manage a staff, how to run a multi-million-dollar organization in the nonprofit world, how to read what a stakeholder or a client or community partner needs, really, even before they say it. I learned how to walk into a room and shift the energy. Now, the people with all those fancy tools, they just still learning how to do all that. So after I realized it, now it didn't happen all at once. And yeah, I was scared and I was nervous and I wasn't sure what to do, like we all are when we approach anything new or different. So, what I did was I first started testing AI tools as soon as I could. And it isn't because I love technology, but it really was because the light came on. I realized something powerful that I could really take what I already know and add the tools to it. I could work smarter and perhaps even smarter than I've ever worked in my life. And you know what? That's exactly what happened. And so when I hear women being nervous about or concerned about or hesitant about using AI tools, I get it because I was at the same place. until I realized, took a deep breath, and just really thought about things and recognized that we really do have an advantage. And we need to use that advantage and leverage that advantage. And so that is the advantage that I want to talk about today. And that's the advantage that I really want you to understand. Okay. So let me give you a quick example of what I mean. One of my clients is a nonprofit executive director, and she needed to prepare a presentation for her donors. Now, she had recently brought on a fabulous, high energy, young development coordinator on her team who spent about 6 hours researching giving trends, creating slides, and still wasn't sure she had the right story. My client spent about 20 minutes. She asked AI to pull the latest philanthropic trends in her sector because she knew that was the question she needed to ask. Then she did what only 15 years of experience could do. She knew which data points, and she identified 3 of them, would land with her specific donors. She knew the relationships in that room because she navigated the political and social dynamics and the landmines. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Give me a yes in the chat if you know what I'm talking about. You know that given where you are and what you've done and where you are, 50s, 60s, 70s, you know the landmines, the political and social dynamics, right? Put a yes in chat if you understand what I'm talking about. And so my client, she knew what was going on. She knew which stories would or could move people and how to connect this ask to the volunteers who would be doing the work, the connection. And she could see not just what was ahead, but what was around the corner that nobody else is talking about. I talk about us when you 60 something, well, in the mid 70s, you just don't see what's in front of you. You got that. But because of your experience, where you've been, what you've done, the fires you've gone through, the things you've said, the people you've been with, the challenges you've overcome, the transitions you've gone through, you can see around that corner. Okay? And so my client was able to pull that together in about 20 minutes. But look at everything that went into those 20 minutes: her strategic thinking, her relationship capital, her political awareness, her storytelling ability, her systems thinking, her pattern recognition. Listen, you can't learn that in a training seminar. That's earned. So the AI gave her the research. Her wisdom told her what to do with it. Same presentation, a fraction of the time. That's the advantage. Okay, so I want to show you what I mean with 3 of my favorite tools. Now, I got a lot of tools, but I've got some favorite ones that I want to share with you because they specifically demonstrate what I mean about the strategic use of AI for us women leaders, us high achievers over 50. Okay. So, that's what I want to do. And so Karina, my producer, is going to help us with it. And let me see. Okay. So they'll follow the presentation. So first, research. You're 24/7 research assistant. So what if you had that research assistant? And we're going to look at the 3 trends. Okay. What if you had that research assistant who never sleeps? You could dive deep on any topic in your industry, stay ahead of trends before your competitors. And you could even, you could find out them trends before your competitors even hear about them. Pull the statistics up that you already know, write that thought leadership article, prep for that keynote speech that you want to give, and you can do without, with just going and just looking for and getting that wonderful information. And so one of my favorite tools that we have up on the screen for you is Perplexity. Now, I love Perplexity. Now, many of you, may still Google, and that's good. And Google's great, but more and more Google is becoming old school, old fashioned, because rather than Googling a subject and then going through pages and pages and pages of things to find your answer, you can go to something like Perplexity, which will take your query, your question, and really, I wish I had all of this when I was doing my doctorate. I'm telling you, but it will, just really get all the information, go search on the various topics, and then give you back the answer. So this one we're putting in, what are the top 3 trends in, so that's what we're going to ask. What are the top 3 trends in nonprofit leadership? Okay. And so let's see what, so Perplexity went out, searched sites, and came back to show you, to tell you that. So, hey, look, digital transformation and AI integration. That's why we're talking about this. It's one of the top trends. Revenue diversification and financial resilience, of course, all about the money. But but do you see that? The trend is even shaped a little different. It differently. It's not just raising dollars. Okay, it's really positioning it as you'll have to be resilient with your finances, which at the very minimum means you have to have a number of different revenue streams now as a nonprofit. You can't have 1 or 2 or even 3. You really have to diversify. And then workforce flexibility and well-being. So those are the, top trends. And in less than what, Karina, a couple of seconds, Perplexity went to legitimate sites, went through all that research, and gave it back to you in what, 5, 10, 15 seconds. And it's a great research assistant. And yes, you can ask smarter and decide faster. I love it. And, look, anyone can get this same data, if they know the right things to do. Your colleague down the hall can ask the same question, but here's the difference that I want you to understand. My women leaders over 50, you know what the data means once you get it. So you see how I was just, it spit out the data, but and it talked about, what was that, financial resiliency. And so because I've worked in nonprofits for However, I could interpret what that data means so that the data becomes actionable. So I can put it in context. And that's what you can do, because when you get this information back and say, oh, okay, that makes sense because, and then you can immediately relate to one of your many, many life experiences. Do you understand what I'm saying? So you know which statistics actually matter, which ones are maybe just some noise. You know how to make the data actionable because you've been in the room where the conversations have gone on, where you've had to make decisions about the various things. But what Perplexity does, this tool, it gives you speed. That's what it gives you. It gives you speed. You know the questions to ask, you know the kind of information you need, but this gives you speed, saves you time. And time is what? What is time? Put it in the chat if you know the end to that. Time is what? Time is money. All the time, time is money. So the tool, this one, Perplexity, it's one of my favorites, gives you the speed, but your years and your experience in your field tell you what to do with it. Okay? All right. So that's the first way that we as women leaders can use AI to our advantage by using the research tools that are available, like a Perplexity. The second way I want to invite you to think about using AI and just learning a tool or two is the thinking part, where you can use AI as a thinking partner strategist. And what if you could walk into every high stakes moment or difficult meeting crystal clear about your strategy, before a difficult conversation, perhaps with your board chair, or before you have to give feedback to a long-term colleague who's just not performing. Or perhaps before that presentation you have to give, or that pitch you have to make to investors, and you need to persuade skeptics. And when you're trying to see all the angles in a major decision, that's when I invite you to use ChatGPT. Now, you'll say to me, Dr. Geneva, we all know about ChatGPT. I'm not suggesting that you don't know about none of this stuff. And you might even be using ChatGPT. These days, who isn't? What I'm talking about here is real specific. I'm talking about how you, as a woman leader, in being 58 or 62 or 53 or 71, can use these tools to your advantage, real easy, smooth, because you've already got the experience, the wisdom, and all of that, and you just learn how to more strategically use a tool. So on this one, as our thinking partner, again, I'm suggesting you can use ChatGPT as a thinking partner. So this one is, we ask, I need to have a difficult conversation with a board member who keeps missing meetings but is a major donor. Have any of you who are in the nonprofit world had that experience? Or it could be you're running a business and you need to have a tough conversation with an investor or someone you want to invest, but that person keeps ghosting you. And so, but in this one, we're going to ask ChatGPT to help me think through the key points I need to make and how to structure this conversation. Okay, so you're giving Chat the situation. Now let's see what Chat gonna say. Okay, it's difficult. Well, we know that. But then Chat gives you objectives, things that you can think about, acknowledge their contribution, express concern, reaffirm the expectation, explore their role, preserve the relationship regardless of the income, and then goes on to suggest maybe some ways to structure the conversation. Now, some of you, many of you may, of course, say, oh, yeah, I got that. I know that. But you might see or find, at least that's been my experience, that every once in a while say, oh, yeah, I could try that. Okay. Or, oh, I remember when I did that before. And so it jogs your memory. Now, I tell you now, I ain't going to say, they say there's no scientific proof that really says that as you age, you really lose memory, because you can forget where you put your keys when you 22, as well as you can forget where you put your keys when you 73. Okay. So, but sometimes we all need those memory joggers. Oh, I did that before, or I tried that before, but it didn't work. Well, maybe I'll try it again. Okay. So anyway, as a thinking partner, chat, this AI tool can help you think through things, maybe even give you some suggestions on what to say. In this one, if a different role might be better, we'd be happy to explore that. I know I've said that a lot of times in talking with volunteers. But anyway, it might not be the situation. It might be something else that you really need some help with. But ChatGPT, used as a strategic thinker, can help organize your thinking to make sure you're seeing the whole picture, and to test things out before you even walk into a room. And, but here again is what makes this really powerful. Someone without your background and expertise might ask Chat what to say, but you're asking this AI tool to help you think through what you already know. Okay? Because you have the relationships, you understand the history, you've navigated these dynamics before. So this tool helps you get clear, give you some feedback on your judgment, to help further expand your wisdom, your knowledge. It's not creating it for you, because you pretty much already know it, but you're using it just as a strategic partner, as you do today. But maybe you can't get to someone that you always bounce things off of. I know I'd be a bouncer offer. I have. That's been one of my techniques that I've used throughout my career, and I'm sure many of you have too. That's what good networks are for, and having great colleagues are for. So the idea or the practice of, hey, let me bounce something off of you, or what do you think about this, or talking to a mentor, that's not new for you, right? This is another tool you can put in your arsenal, strategic tool. Okay. All right. So let me know if this is resonating with you, if you all finding value in it. Put yes, or put the word value if this is helping you. And again, I wanted to put chat in here because, I know if they said, well, Dr. Geneva talked about AI, and, she didn't say anything about chat. So everybody be using chat. So I wanted to make sure chat was in here. But I wanted to give you a different way, perhaps, of thinking about chat, but more importantly, how you can leverage chat to help you as a woman leader over 50 stay relevant, stay competitive, stay in the know, bounce things off of. Okay, just perhaps a different way about thinking about these tools. And then the third tool I wanted to show you is about creation. This is a fun one. I mean, I really love this. And this helps you show up polished without the energy drain. So I'm going to ask you just what if you could create those, really polished, professional materials in a fraction of the time. So let's say you need a presentation for potential funders, or perhaps a workshop outline for your team, or a one-pager that explains your new initiative. But you want it to kind of look good and communicate real clearly, but you might not have the tools, or you might be like me. I'm a solo entrepreneur, and I don't have anymore a marketing team or a graphic design team or PR team or anything like that. But with the AI tools now that we can use strategically, as women leaders over 50, we can do that. So this is one of my favorites. It's called Gamma, and you may be familiar with it. But with Gamma, what we're going to do is I'm going to ask Gamma to create a presentation outline for a workshop on career transitions for women over 50. Okay. And you could put anything in there, but we're going to have Gamma create this. Now, I want you to see how quickly Gamma is putting this together. And we just gave it one line. Remember the one line? Create a presentation outline for a workshop on career transitions for women over 50. Okay. Just one. This is the outline. And we could stop right there because this is fantastic. But let's ask Gamma to generate the presentation for us. And I want you to watch it work to do this. And we just gave it one line. And, you could give it one line about a pitch deck you need to do in potential investors, or look at this. See, you see what it's creating? Isn't that amazing? And it's doing some research for you, and this is just using the one line. You can create your own presentation, do your own research, and put the whole script in, and it'll do the same kind of thing. But look at this. And this, so can we go back and show some of that presentation, though you saw it going through? Look at this. And it gives you the visuals, the images, all of which you can change. You can change all of this. You can go back and edit and put in what you want to put in. You can change statistics. See, you can change the headings. You can put in different images. But this was one line. Okay. And we now have this presentation about career transitions for women over 50. You like it? Right. So if you really like this is one of my favorites. And you can just imagine all of the use cases that you can have for a tool like this. And you saw how fast it put it together. But, 10 years ago, you would have spent hours in PowerPoint. Well, I won't go 10. For me, it was probably 10, but but it could have just been a few weeks ago or a month or two ago. You or members of your team would have spent. See, and you might be a little bit more familiar, but what about the members of your team? Are they familiar with how they can use these tools strategically? But you would have spent hours in a PowerPoint moving them boxes around. Or again, you would have handed it to someone on your team and waited for X number of days to get it. But here's what makes this strategic. You already know the story you need to tell. Okay. I know from the work that I've done, from being in it, that learning about how to best navigate career transitions is something that women over 50 are very interested in. And the opportunity for them to think about and plan for their next chapter, like a career transition, is something that's very important. And so I've come to you every week. We talk about this topic or topics like this, and I've told versions of this story 100 times. And I know what lands. You know what lands and what doesn't. You know your audience. You know the subject matter. You really do. This tool handles the design. Your expertise handles the message. Okay? So this is what I mean by the advantage. You're not starting from a blank slate. You're starting from decades of hard-won experience and expertise, and you're going to add the tools that let you work at the speed your brain already moves. All right? The whole world, though, wants you to believe your age makes you irrelevant, that you're behind, that the game has just gone on and passed you by. Now, that's a lie designed to keep you small and quiet. And the truth really is, and I want you all to hear this, that the truth is right now, you have something that can't be taught in a boot camp. Pattern recognition, political savvy, the ability to read a room, deep relationships, strategic thinking that only comes from years of watching what works and what doesn't. Now, when you add these tools to what you already know, you don't just keep up, you lead. And that's the mindset shift. So learning new tools isn't about proving anything. It's about staying open to what the moment requires, just like you've done your entire career. And it's that same mindset is what we build inside my 2026 launch blueprint, because planning 2026 without the tools to execute it, that's just wishful thinking. So, if this conversation that we've had, this subject matter spoke to you today, and if you've been wanting to feel more focused and ready for what's next, I want you to join me in that 2026 launch blueprint. It's going to be a small group, no more than 20 seats available. We'll do 4 live sessions starting in December. And, I've been asked, well, Dr. Geneva, I want to get ready for 2026. I want to plan for 2026. I'm not sure what I want to do in 2026, but I know I've got some things I've thought about, and I want to do it. And I don't want a resolution or put together resolutions, because by February, my resolutions are going out the window. So, what is it that the 2026 launch blueprint and working with you will get you? Well, first of all, bottom line, you're going to get a plan for 2026 that you'll be able to implement in the first quarter. So that's what you'll get. We start December 4th on that. And we'll talk about vision and priorities, what matters most, and where you'll focus your energy, plus 15 minutes on using AI for goal setting and clarity. So I'm building into each of these sessions a little bit of AI, just a sprinkle, and it'll be a private group, and we can play with it and experiment with it. But I'm not an AI techie or, all of that, though I have explored getting my AI certification. I don't know. That's something for 2026. We'll talk about that later. But I do know AI enough to teach you, as I've used it, how to be strategic with AI at our age and where we are and in our experience. So I'm going to sprinkle that AI in each of those sessions. And then in another session 2, we're going to line up your visibility strategy, how you're going to show up as a thought leader and stay relevant in your field, or stay joyful in retirement. Okay? Whatever your thoughts are for 2026. Plus, we'll do 15 minutes on using AI for how you can, help with your visibility and content creation. And then we're going to look at the processes that will keep you moving forward without burning out. We'll look at that in session 3, and how to use AI more efficiently. And then, we'll put together your action plan. And this will be a complete roadmap with your deadlines, your accountability, simple action steps, how you can use AI for executing your plan. But the bottom line is, if you're just joining what I'm talking about, you're going to walk away with your plan for 2026 complete on paper and ready to implement. And you're going to know how to use AI strategically in every area, so you're working smarter, not harder. So there's a link right on my page with all the details, and there's a QR code somewhere here where you can, get all the details. And so I want you to know that I put this together because you all asked for it. I've done this every year, but I've done it 1-to-1. And when you go and you look at my launch blueprint, you'll see the testimonies there and what people have to say about working with me. But this year, I said, because so many people have said to me, well, I want to do this, I want to do that, and I'm not sure what to do, but 2026 is my year. And so I said, let me bring a group together and let's see how that works. Plus, the reality is I can only work with so many people one-on-one. And so, and I love it. And those of you who are my 1-to-1 clients know that, I really love that. But I can only do so much of that. And so I've decided it's first time, though I've done some workshops, but this is the first time I've done 4 sessions in a row. But that's the transformation you're going to get. If you're uncertain, you're not sure what you're going to do in 2026, you finish these 4 sessions, you'll be clear. You'll have your plan. Uh, you'll have that, and you'll be working together as a community with like-minded folk. Oh my gosh, it's just fabulous. It's just wonderful on all of that. And you'll be there with others. And oh, is that my girl Carolyn? How you doing? And Darylyn Parker, how are you on Extraordinary Women Influencers? And, you know, I just want you to remember that it's not too late to learn something new. Mm-hmm. And it's not too late to lead in new ways. And it's not too late to leave your legacy. And it's not too late to plan your retirement. And it's not too late to be in retirement and create joy and even a better retirement experience. All we have to do is plan for it and think about it and work on it and be with others in a community that can help us and encourage us. And you don't have to master everything. That's why I just wanted to, show you 3 tools that you might be familiar with, but I wanted to show you different ways you can use them to be strategic if you're over 50. The point is, you just have to stay open, curious, because women who stay curious will always stay ahead. So the advantage isn't just in the tools. The advantage is you, your wisdom, your experience, your ability to think strategically and with experience about what matters. And these tools, they'll just help you work smarter, quicker, save that energy, as we do, as we're in our 50s, 60s, 70s. It's not about time management. It really is about that energy management. And so that's what we'll do, in the blueprint and the work we'll do together. So let's walk into 2026 clear, confident, and ready to lead and live at our highest level. So that's what I wanted to make sure that I talked about in terms of our advantage. So we're going to see what questions that we have. If you have any questions, love you, Extraordinary Women Influencers. And I want you all to remember that all of this is for you. You can do it whenever you want. I've hoped great. We've got some, I see some folk girls talking about she's getting her certification, and great. That's wonderful. Hey, Velma, how are you? Glad you can join it. Nidra's here. Yes, and AI is an amazing tool, and she does some incredible work. Nidra has over 20 years in technology and AI, and she's stepping into that field in a big, big way. And so I'm so proud of you, Nidra, and all of the things that you're doing. And yes, so it's good to see. Oh, everyone's saying, hey, Carol. Carol is talking about how ChatGPT has been helpful to her. And many of you have indicated that this conversation has been valuable. Thank you so much. And we can keep doing this if you want more. I see Carol also used AI for research, and lots of value, lots of people loving Gamma. Some of you haven't seen Gamma before, I know. And thank you for sharing that it's a wow thing. Yes. So let's look for your questions. So I see we have a couple of questions. It's almost 10 o'clock. And so while I'm pulling up the questions, I know I can do at least one. I wanted to remind all of you that in 30 minutes at 10:30 Eastern Standard Time, I know many of you are joining us from different time zones, but at 10:30, I'll be talking to Erica Telford, who is Rosa Parks' grandniece. And we're going to be talking about legacy and action. You might have seen my series last week where we talked about the Rosa Parks legacy in action and how fantastic it is. And this is what is so important to us. I think once you get over 50, you be thinking about that legacy. Well, what are you going to leave? What is it? You're going to leave. What is it that you want to leave? And that legacy is so important. Well, Rosa Parks, hers is legacy in action, not only because of what she did during her lifetime, but also what she's left for us in terms of her foundation. Her foundation gives scholarships. Over 3,000 young people have gotten scholarships to continue their education who might not have been able to. And so that's legacy in action. So today I'm going to be talking to her grandniece, who will be giving insights into Auntie Rosa, as she calls her. And Erica is a delight. So I'm looking forward to that. And that's in about 30 minutes at 10:30. We'll be back here. So we'll be on LinkedIn. We'll be on their Facebook page. But I think Karina's telling me we'll be on some of my channels too. So you can pick me up here or wherever you are now, and also at 10:30 on the Rosa Parks Scholarship Foundation page. Go on their page, like them and follow them. And they're having a gala November 1st, which is just a couple weeks away. And one of their terrific guests is Courtney Vance. Yes, the preacher's wife, other things, but gotta say Angela Bassett's husband, that plays into it too. He's fine as he is too. So it's all good. Anyway, he's gonna be there. He's gonna be in town. So you probably want to get a ticket if you're in Detroit. Okay. So it'll be, Karina's telling me it'll be on all my channels too, as well as the Rosa Parks Scholarship Foundation channels. That's at 10:30 today. So come on back. So we've got, Karina, I'm not going to be able to do all of these questions. So I'll just pick out one of them. Okay. And it seems like we've got a lot of folk asking about, okay, let's do this one. What's one thing I can do this week to start building my AI confidence? I love that question, and thank you for asking it. Well, one thing you can do is to I just got a note about Erica. Hope she's. Oh, okay, fine. Erica's going to join us. I guess I was pronouncing her name incorrectly. What was I talking about? One thing you can do. Okay, thank you. Hey. Okay. One thing you can do is pick one of the tools that I shared with you today and play with it, use it, test it. And so it was Perplexity, which is one of my favorites, chat that everybody knows about, and Gamma. Okay. Pick one of them. Go with Perplexity or Gamma, you know, and play with it. And if it suits you and you have use for it, master it. So play with it every day. It's just you and the tool. You don't have to tell anybody. It'll be our secret. But go play with it and use it. Use it for a couple of days. You become a master at it. Many of the tools that I now used when I started out, and again, as I said, I solo entrepreneur. I used to have big marketing teams, PR. I ran multi-million-dollar organizations, so I had huge staffs, and had PR, had marketing staff, had all of that, had a tech staff, folk who ran the website, kept it functioning, etc. When I became an entrepreneur in my late 60s, I didn't have any of that. I left all of that. So I had to learn from scratch. So my use of all of these tools is self-taught use. And if I can do it in my late 60s, mid 70s, you can do it. You can learn any tool that you want to. And there's so many ways and the best way to learn a tool is to practice it and use it on your own. So that would be the one thing that I would suggest that you do this week to build your AI confidence. Because we know even if you didn't have the AI in front of the word confidence, we know one of the best ways to build your confidence in anything is to practice doing it. So if you're nervous about speaking, go speak. If you're nervous about learning a new dance, like me, I'm dancing now a lot, go take some lessons and dance. So we know now, our community knows that building confidence is about practicing it. So that's the one thing that I would do this week so that you can build up your AI confidence. And I want you to drop me a note, let me know how you're doing. And so Karina is saying, stop it, your time is running out. Mwah! Hope to see many of you at 10:30 Eastern Standard Time, where we'll be talking hearing more about voices from the Rosa Parks Legacy in Action. And 10:30 on their pages on Facebook. Go there. I'll be on all my channels as well, going to be talking about that. And then listen, if you haven't signed up for that 2026 blueprint, we start December 4th. Come on. It's going to be fun. Come on, let's do it. I'll see you soon. Bye. See you.